It's Candle Night's Eve, and the camera finds the group, fading from one to the other just before they fall asleep. We see Cora holding Odo in her arms in bed, staring at the back of her partner's head and worrying that this life will make her something that they don't like. We find Tessa in a similar spot, Ai's head resting on her chest as she stares at the ceiling, excited for her new life but worried because this is just something new to lose. Orn is up late, poring over research as he and Awakening discuss theories and formulas, dedicating himself to something that he doesn't fully understand. Seshmir stands on his fire escape, in a tank top, gray slacks, and an overcoat. As he finishes the last of a case of beer that he borrowed from Orn earlier that day, he throws the bottle, smirking as he hears the glass shatter. And finally Seer, alone in his parents' house, nursing a long cold cup of tea in the kitchen, realizing that for the first time he is really on his own. They will soon all drift to sleep and find themselves dreaming of the city's past. A century ago, before the elves came, before the guilds, when Luume was a bustling trading hub and not the independent city-state that it would soon become. They watch as former heroes fight something bigger than themselves, unable to change the events, but feeling them like they were there. When they wake, it'll all feel less real. Their waking minds will dismiss it, or fill in the details so that they can cope. But someone wants them to see, wants them to feel the fall, to know dread. Thanks for tuning into The Room Where It Happened, a real play podcast. I don't remember why I wrote this description anymore. Like a live play podcast that, I don't know. It's been a long time.
Take 5.
I know you're confused. Yeah. I know the audience is confused because they're like, I've listened for 10 episodes and Brian's never talked directly to the audience before. This is fucked up.
I think how we feel.
But so
you talked at the end of at the beginning of the first one. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for listening.
Yeah. That's literally the last time I did that. That was 9 episodes ago. But again, thank you for tuning in to the room where it happened. We still appreciate you, even more so, really.
You're a real trooper.
Yeah. So we've sort of come to the conclusion of what I am tentatively calling in my head the Wyatt arc. That was never intended to be an arc.
No, he's supposed to have died.
Yeah. And so where we are, we're going to, in the main game, we're going to be doing a bit of a time jump with the characters, but sort of as a palate cleanser. It's kind of like just a break from those characters and to fill out a little bit of the lore of the world. Like, not just, like, fill out for the characters to know these things that previously happened, but really to, like, fill in details in the way that I like to fill in details, which is just with everybody all at the same time. We're going to be playing a game called Dread. Dread is probably the worst game you can choose to play as a one-shot for an audio-only format. It involves no stats or dice rolling. How you determine if you succeed in a conflict or overcome some sort of adversity is you physically pull a brick from the Tower of Dread. The Tower of Dread being a Jenga tower that is currently sitting directly in front of me. It is sort of a horror suspense game, and everybody has sort of like helped collectively create some characters who will eventually be are now, I guess, prominent figures in the past of our story. So one thing we need to do before we get everything set up is we need to go ahead and do pre-pulls from the tower, because you don't start the game with a very stable Jenga tower.
That'd be too easy.
Where's the fun in that? Yeah. So the first person who's going to come and make a pull from the tower is going to be Richard. And while Richard does that, Emily, would you care to go ahead and introduce your character?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry, I'm looking at a few pictures. My character is Elizabeth Faulkner. Goes by Liz. They, them pronouns.
Jenga.
And I lost my sibling, whom you'll meet probably in a second, and now they deny that we were ever related.
Cool. All right. So Izzy, come up, pull it from the tower.
Liz.
Liz.
Izzy was my sibling's name for me.
Okay. You can also come around if you want to.
This will work.
Oh, okay. So Lincoln, go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Definitely that. No, not that one. Just a little over the left.
So my name is Lincoln Faulkner, modernly known as Sen and Dawnsword. And I am trying to revitalize the Church of Palor, because the believers of Palor think that they can just get by just doing good things and hoping that eventually evil will disappear, and it's just...
It wouldn't be the room where it happened if something fucked up wasn't happening in the background.
We may or may not have commandeered a 125-pound dog.
Yeah, there's a big dog here.
There will be
He's
pictures.
adorable.
There already are. It's the future.
Yeah, sorry. What were you saying, Lincoln?
So the believers of Palor are wrong, and I'm trying to teach them the wrong of their ways, and to really bring the church back into the light.
To shreds, you say?
Awesome. Lincoln, come pull from the tower. So I'm going to introduce somebody. We've got our crew is a little bit smaller than usual. Shannon wasn't able to make it, but we have somebody that you've actually heard a number of times, literally every fucking episode of the podcast. We have on here Liz, who is owns the house that we play in, along with Richard.
That's how marriage works.
Yes, that's how I'm told marriage works. But she is going to be playing Rosette. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about Rosette.
Well, Rosette Askvig is a human, and, well, from a very early age, I had a vision. I had a vision that everything that I wanted could be mine if I only pushed the right buttons. And therefore, I followed my visions. I studied, I became a wizard, and after I found the awakening, after I found the stone, my powers grew and my visions became clear. I have followed those visions, and now I'm mayor. And let anyone who wants to try stand in my way. I am cold and ready to fight where I need to, but mostly I'm calculating. And, well, I'm in love. If only they would realize it and come to understand how much they too love me.
Okay. All right.
That'll do. Yep.
All right, Rosette, come take a pull.
It's a very comprehensive blurb.
Fucking kill me. Mine was not that good. Mine was like, my sibling died. I'm real sad and fucked up from it.
Okay, so next up will be Andrew, who is playing Newton. What's Newton's full name?
Zemke.
Zemke.
So,
Newton Zemke.
I am playing Newton Zemke. I am a tiefling bard who is the priest of, a priest of Arathis. So Arathis is the goddess of civilization and law, but the Church of Arathis and I sort of parted ways after they murdered my spouse. You see, they really like laws a lot more than they like civilization. And so when you break, like, jaywalking or something, they tend to go a little overboard. But I personally enjoy walking around town, gathering stories of all the various experiences to be had in the great civilization that Arathis has provided for us. I have been told by my fellow party members that I may be the only one that even slightly leans towards good here. So
It's true.
I imagine I will last about 5 minutes.
Yeah, Lincoln's a fucking paladin.
Lincoln has some anger issues.
I'm mayor. I'm good.
Yeah.
She
The
also
mayor
has,
has never
she
been
just
the bad
has
guy.
Yeah.
she has generic issues.
The mayor's literally never been the bad guy in any story.
Never.
ever.
We challenge us.
But
Send us
definitely
things
not
that
season
are.
2 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
It's fine. We live in Dimsdale.
So go ahead and come and make a pull.
We're not Dimsdale.
Richard, go ahead and introduce us to
Sunnydale?
Lachelle.
Also one where the mayor is bad.
Hi, I'm playing Lachelle
Rebuild.
Gelfi. I'm a half-elf fighter, head of
Don't
the Silver Chalice Mercenary Group. And like everyone else in the party, I'm good too. I'm not just good, I'm really good. I'm the best there is at what I do. If you need a problem solved, I'm your man, provided the price is right.
I almost burned
If you
into, like,
hear
the
sobbing in the
impossible
background,
thing.
it's because Arrow is so cute.
You should take a picture of
Arrow
Arrow.
is
I
our Great
did.
Dane.
Right now I'm working for both Lincoln and Rosette for differing purposes. So that should be fascinating too, because they don't know that I'm working for each of them.
Who you're looking for.
Okay, so we find ourselves in Luume. It's about 115 years before where we currently are in the storyline. Stylistically, think of the city as less of, because typically the city I think of like it's got like a 1920s London, New York sort of vibe to it, with like a Blade Runner gloss over the top of everything. This is decidedly less technologically advanced. Think like a really good touchstone visually would be Gangs of New York. While that movie goes on for way too long, it's got great set design. And so like it's kind of like streets that it's definitely a city. It's definitely like a big, densely populated city, but it's not a modern city by what we would consider like a modern city. So we kind of come into the city as it's beginning to grow significantly. It's still part of a larger kingdom. It hasn't become a independent city-state unto itself.
What is the name of that kingdom?
Mine.
It's got one. It's got one. The Great Kingdom of Got One.
There we go.
But
That's lore now.
Canon.
yeah. Listen, we made other dumb shit canon. The Candlelight Fairy eats teeth. Like
After they pull them out of your small children.
yeah. Fuck.
It's fine.
Jesus. We've basically what's kind of gathering our party together is that there was a kind of a tenement housing development on the kind of the poor end of the city. Running underneath the city is a naturally occurring series of catacombs, most of which have been co-opted into a sewer system for the city because they didn't have to dig them. They were just already there, so they reinforced them with brick and everything and kind of got them set up. Unfortunately, with this tenement building, there was like kind of an unknown section of catacombs underneath where they were building, and the bottom floor has caved in. A couple of people went missing in the cave-in, and so you guys weren't their first call. All of you are you're not over-the-hill adventurers, but you're all easily in like your 40s or 50s.
I got bad knees.
Yeah, yeah. Like you're not the young hotshot kids. You're not the people who go out and fight the fucking dragon anymore. You were once those people, but they kind of went and got the hotshot kids that currently go out and fight the fucking dragon. That was 3 days ago. They haven't come back, nor have the people who fell into the hole, and so they've contacted kind of two disparate groups inside of the neighborhood. Have contacted two different groups of people to come and solve the problem. On one end, we have the mayor, who definitely has a vested interest in a number of her citizens going missing. She brings with her to the investigation her good friend, Liz, which is going to get weird. I'm going to have to call you Izzy.
Just use their full name.
I will call you Izzy. That's fine.
You can just call me
I'm the disembodied voice of some terrible god. And Izzy invited her good friend Newton to kind of come along as backup.
Currently sobbing into the face of a Great Dane.
This is normal.
It happens.
On the other end of that are sort of like more devout worshippers, especially of the radical populist message that Lincoln preaches. They've contacted Lincoln. Lincoln brings with them their best hired sword to kind of go down there and fuck shit up, because nothing sounds better than like nothing's a better PR stunt than saving the hot shit heroes. And so that's kind of where you guys find yourself. I would say probably the first people to arrive are going to be like Rosette and company, and I'll kind of cue Lincoln and Lachelle when to come in. So you come in. The house, it's weird, kind of from the front outside of the house. It's kind of like a 3-story building. It doesn't really look like anything's wrong because the back corner fell in and you can't see it from the street. But when you enter in the front door, the landlord of the building invites you in. It's kind of like an older dwarven lady. She's still got some like kind of black color to her hair, but there's definitely some gray streaks in it. She's kind of got like a mama vibe to her. She seems like a nice enough lady. She invites you in, kind of shows you to the room. Miss Mayor, thank you so much for coming. I'm sorry that I have to drag you all the way down to this end of the city. We don't really know what to do. And so she kind of walks you through the main hall and then into what would have been the common room, kind of the main room that was affected. Because it doesn't look like everything, like the building slumped down, but it didn't cave in. So like there weren't mass casualties, but like 20 or so people just kind of fell into a hole in the earth and never came back. And you look into it and there's a hole, and it's kind of slashed down. You could probably climb down in there without needing any sort of equipment.
Okay.
But she's kind of showing you around to the hole. And she's like, there were some families down here. It's the middle of the day when it happened. All we heard was kind of like a weird, like air rushing out of a room noise, and then the whole thing just kind of shifted and fell down. And we called down. We could hear them down there initially. It seemed like for the most part everyone was okay, but we didn't want to. We were trying to keep the rest of the building from falling down, so we were needing, because it falling down on top of them wasn't going to save them or us. So as we were kind of dealing with that, because they seemed okay, we sort of like let them be there for a moment, and then by the time we got back, we no longer had contact with them. We got a hold of that Gold Key adventuring group, those kids who you see in the paper and everything. we got a hold of them. They came in. They seemed very capable, and they haven't come back. We haven't heard anything from them. Like, we waited for a day, and then we waited for 2 days, and then we just don't know what to do.
Well, I'm terribly, terribly sorry that this happened to you and that this happened. The infrastructure here, we must take measures to make sure that everything is safe and secure. We would not want anything to happen to our business owners. So we have, the building has been secured. We are stable.
From what people tell me, it seems to be stable. Where it's not necessarily, we don't know repair-wise, but it doesn't seem to be going anywhere currently.
It's good because we're standing in it.
You want to know, right?
Yeah, so, it's good to know.
Good to know that it's not, and we don't think it's a sinkhole.
It doesn't. It does. I don't know. From what we can tell, kind of looking down there, it looks like it kind of something. We can hear water rushing through.
Okay.
Because if you kind of lean down next to the hole, you can hear.
Okay, so.
So it sounds like when you were like kind of standing in a sewer and water's going through there. In typical Luume fashion, the weather's real shitty outside. It's kind of like raining. Water's kind of dripping through kind of the broken sections of the building. It's not that bad. It's really just kind of like a god awful drizzle.
We are in Portland.
Yeah, you're in you're London, Portland, New York.
Everything's in sepia tones.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, everything's in sepia tones except for all the weird neon because it's Blade Runner.
Right.
So, am I getting any vibes off of the general area or any kind of things that are talking to me vision-wise?
You don't have any sort of visions. It seems the way everyone's kind of acting. It seemed there's not a whole lot of people bustling about. You can hear some people moving around in the rest of the building. Maybe they're doing cleanup. Maybe they could just be families recovering their stuff. And Newton and Izzy, you're both there too. This lady's just assuming you're part of the mayor's entourage. So, because the mayor's here, she's gonna talk to the mayor.
She's gonna have people. Yep.
So if you guys have any questions, you can also pose them to this dwarf mammoth. No.
Can I detect life or anything like that? I don't know.
Sure.
Is that a thing I can do?
I don't know any of the
Yeah.
bard spells. This is not a good class I chose.
I mean,
Just
I
say
don't know if
things.
that's a spell.
Just say things.
Yeah.
What you want. Okay.
So you can kind of concentrate and you get the general vibe. You can feel.
Okay.
The only lives you can feel are the people who are obviously in this room.
Right.
There's about 3 other people in the building, and there's some because it doesn't have the world's largest. It's probably going off normal D&D shit, probably 100 feet or so, radius. So you pick up some weird wildlife down in the sewer, but you don't see any human ass looking life signs.
And looking down into the sewer, can we see? We can see the bottom of the sewer. How clear is it down there?
It's weird the way that it broke. It's almost like it's just a ramp down into this hole, because it's basically the floor fell in. And then the building kind of slumped over after that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not it doesn't look. It's weird.
Yeah.
Definitely weird. But you can also see why, these people probably just kind of tumbled down this ramp. That's probably why they weren't crushed to death because the building didn't fall down. So, it's about that time that you hear another set of voices at the door. It's kind of you hear an older man who is the dwarven papa to this dwarven mama. And he comes in with Lincoln and Lachelle in tow, not in tow, Jesus. Basically, he's explaining the same situation to you. And he's yeah, the hole's in here. Oh, Miss Mayor, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that, honey, you invited the mayor to the house?
Oh, well, that's quite all right. I'm so glad you did. We take all of our constituents' input. They're very important to us.
Yeah. And so Lincoln walks in the room. Izzy, you see Lincoln, and your breath catches in your chest. You've seen this person who sort of looks like your sibling floating around
Oh
the
yeah.
city.
By the way,
already.
we're twins. They
Yeah.
look like me.
Yeah, you're twins.
Hard to miss.
Other Izzy walks into the room. Lachelle, you walk into the room, you're like, oh hey, your other boss is here. Also somebody who looks like your other boss is here.
I'm just standing there going,
Yeah. Newton, who doesn't know not to ask questions, like, this is, you guys are related? But
Yeah.
Izzy, you walk into the room. Your breath catches in your chest. You can feel your heart pounding in your ears. And you are back in that cave when Lincoln first found the glove. And you can see murder in his eyes again as he jumps on top of you. And you can almost feel the blade digging into your stomach. Come make a pull.
Okay. Also, like
well,
in
just
the room,
from seeing sibling, make a pull.
so I can see that. Like that's what I'm experiencing right now.
You're having a flashback.
I'm like probably physically, my character is going to just like
Yeah.
shove into the air. Like
A little bit of PTSD.
You won't confirm. But yeah, so you can remember hearing, you can hear yourself scream while you're doing it. All the things that you said, the feeling of being run through with
He
the
says
sword.
as she's pulling the piece from the Jenga tower.
And it's the most terrible moment of your life all over again, and then it fades, and your pulse slows back down.
And so they did react physically. Like I like basically kind of stepped back and like shoved my hands out as if to try to push Lincoln off of me in the cave where I am seeing myself.
Okay.
I take a step forward, my face a mask of concern. Are you okay?
Extra psycho.
Are you gonna make me pull again?
No,
Jesus.
it's fine.
I am also very concerned. I want to make sure that Izzy is totally okay.
It's Liz.
I want to make
I
sure.
mean, aren't you like
totally
having
okay.
like fantasies or something now? I mean, there's two of her.
She's nothing.
No,
they're nothing
she
like.
knows
Oh, she
about
knows.
the
Okay.
other me.
Okay.
They're not her.
Hey, Brian.
They're not.
I'm just gonna look, kind of like tilts my head, like Lincoln.
No. I'm sorry, you're mistaken. I go by Senna and Dawnsword.
You're not related.
Yeah, you.
I'm sorry. I don't think I've ever. No, I met you once. That's right. I think I remember seeing you. You came to the church. I'm sorry. I should have recognized you.
Yeah,
He's with.
you should have.
Lachelle walked in with her, right? Or with him, right?
Yeah.
They're related, aren't they?
I don't know those people.
But you came with him.
Rosette,
Well, I know them.
Rosette
They
takes a
hired me.
really good look at Lincoln. I mean, like a really good look at Lincoln, and then looks back at Liz and goes, I don't see it.
Yeah.
I
And you-
just don't see it.
Rose, in the back of your head, you hear the kind of the familiar voice of, like you hear the familiar voice of awakening. She's like, Miss Mayor, are you sure that's not Lincoln? 'Cause it looks very much like him. But
Yeah.
I mean, I know that he was lost, right? But
Them.
or they were lost things. Sorry.
Yeah.
They were lost, but are you sure?
Oh, I am sure they'll never come back. One way or another. I'm
say
sure
this out
that to Awakening.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Awakening
can
and I are
communicate?
connected.
Yeah.
Awakening
Awakening could always do that.
Awakening and I have a special bond, and so I'm like, I think to Awakening, oh, even if it is them, they're not coming back now. Nope, not gonna do it. Liz doesn't need that back in her life. They're alive.
If you say so. So you guys awkwardly stand in like the dwarven Mama and Papa are like
Liz just
So-
never stops looking at Lincoln, like constantly the entire time. Just
Oh,
like,
I extend my hand out and say, "Wow, it's very nice to meet you."
Not
Very
Lincoln.
warm handshake.
Exactly.
Nice to meet you, Madam Mayor. I don't believe
actually
I've had
has their mouth open at this point.
Can I like determine if everyone here is just bullshitting me? Like, is that a thing I can do? Just like, Because I'm sitting there like, I've seen a lot of things in this city, but
What can bards?
they're probably siblings.
Like Dawn Sword over there, they seem legit. Like,
Yeah, can I? Is there something I would have that would allow me to analyze them and see if they're lying, like they're lying about not knowing me and being Dawn Sword, or if they truly like believe
they seem
this?
they were 100% legit. That's like,
That's who they are.
yeah. And you've heard about this person too. Like not like they're keeping a low profile.
I mean, they like to like Kool-Aid Man walls, so.
It's true.
Just gonna continue staring with mouth open.
Yeah. So
Like,
finally,
as you walk away, look over,
The two
like-
dwarves in the room are like, so, like the Pavlov guy
are you
was
like
like, so,
humans?
I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
What?
Are you human?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
both human.
Yeah.
Humans are weird.
Yeah. I didn't know that the mayor was here when I invited you over, but we were hoping that maybe you could, at the very least, maybe have like, we don't want to necessarily, like, whatever happened down there, we don't want anything bad to happen to you two, or the rest of you. I'm sorry, I just didn't
Yeah, I see
expect
how it is. It's fine.
for how it is.
cool.
Our whole
Sorry,
living room
buddy.
fell in. I didn't expect to be entertaining.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It is all right.
I've seen worse.
But we were hoping that you two could maybe go down, have a look around, see if you can, at the very least, get some leads, figure out what's happened to our folks or those kids that we sent down there. We're feeling awfully bad about it.
Absolutely, we'll get to the bottom of this.
So they like, do you guys do you need us to get you all anything, or?
I'll take a water.
Oh, okay. The man was like, okay, and just kind of like pats you on the arm, and goes and gets you like a cup of water.
I step over and I pat you on the shoulder. Are you okay? Is it all right? Remember, we're friends.
I know. I know.
So, Madam Mayor, are we just going to leave it to them to go down and investigate and wait for the
I
report?
don't think we should
or-
leave that to them. No, I think we should definitely take an active interest in this.
Madam Mayor, I mean, it would hurt me to think that you might get hurt on this mission. Don't you think that you're better served serving your people and being a figure of strength in this trying time?
Gonna sit down.
Pull out the whiskey flask.
I need some of that stone beer.
I do appreciate
What
your
stone?
concern.
What? You can't make beer from stones. That's insanity. I've been to every bar in this city. Ain't no stone beer.
But while I do appreciate your concern, I feel like it's an important duty as the mayor to make sure that our infrastructure and that, most importantly, that no other buildings will suddenly fall into chaos. So I think it would probably better suit us if we went with you all.
Suit yourself.
So who's first down in the hole?
I am.
Okay. So
I am last.
fair. I'm just gonna assume the rest of you guys are in the middle somewhere.
I'm
So as you
gonna
kind
do a
of
little light
descend
spell or
into the,
something.
I just want to also look at you and say, whatever they're paying you, I just doubled it.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Now you have triple pay. Look at that.
What could go wrong? Who's this bad for in this room? No one. Everything's great.
Yeah, it is. Pretty awesome.
Pulling out the notebook. Okay.
So as you descend into this, as you kind of descend,
This is gonna be a great story someday.
It's very apparent that this is not a this wasn't originally a connected section of the sewer. It's still the very naturalistic catacomb cave walls. It smells very musty, and as you step kind of like off the dropped out floor of this living room and into the actual floor, you like right up to like half a calf of water, which is maybe what's probably has what caused this chamber to sort of more open up. You're all fucking magic as hell. One of you casts light.
I already did, yeah.
And so as you
have a glowing
open it
rapier.
up, you can sort of see it. It's still far off, and you can maybe see it because tiefling stuff. but near the end of the hallway, you can see where like it looks like there was a cave in, and what's maybe happened is that this was a chamber that's kind of like more of a natural well system, and that wall's blown out, and then all this water came out, and then the cave just kind of fell in.
But that's not the hole. That's not this hole. You said there's another hole.
Yeah,
my understanding
you're
is
in
correctly.
a chamber at the end of the chamber. Sorry, I didn't explain that.
Okay.
A wall's kind of caved in, and it looks like you can kind of tell. You can suss out like, oh, I'm in half calf, like I'm up to my knees in water, and looking in the wall,
So-
like this whole chamber was probably full of water.
So have we traveled? Like I'm sorry. Like
You're literally just walked down the little ramp already.
okay. So we're
You're saying
still.
this whole chamber was full of water, but
Yeah.
a wall blew out, some of that water left, and as a
That's
result...
probably what's caused the void
Okay.
that this fell into.
Okay.
Yeah.
They built a
push-
house on top of
Yeah.
just water.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know, right?
I mean, you really can make civilization anywhere.
So as you guys,
talk to the city planners about that.
so as
No,
you,
they're
it's
dicks.
weird because like the back wall of the building is firmly sitting
Codes
over what
probably
looks
need to
like the
be reviewed.
wall of the cave. Like they
Codes
maybe
definitely
found the
need to be
right.
reviewed.
They just kind of messed it up. So as you guys as you kind of push out of this little chamber, you can tell that crumbling wall connects to the greater sewer, and that's the running water that you've heard. Like water's just kind of rushing down the center. It's like the weird. It's like a brick sewer, Ghostbusters 2Z sort of sewer, where you've got enough room to walk around and not have to walk in weird sewer water.
Ninja Turtle
So
style.
is there anything that would prevent the people from just walking right back up the ramp?
Not really. There was maybe some more rubble or disarray that wouldn't have kept them from coming up, but nothing that would have permanently kept them from
they
doing
all broke their ankles.
it. Yeah.
Every one of them, same time. All 20, 40,
Gone.
40 ankles gone.
They were stacked like a thing of Jenga.
So,
You know?
I couldn't get out.
anybody want to so you've kind of entered the great main sewer area. What do you want to do?
I'm asking Awakening if they see anything that's interesting.
Yeah, I'd like to look for any signs that
Yeah.
people have passed through this area.
Go ahead and so you're looking around.
Yeah.
Awakening. That's not really her forte.
Nope.
She's like a personal.
Well,
She's
she's not really that useful.
No.
We've
100
tried.
years, still the same bullshit.
We've tried. We've tried real hard. She doesn't do much.
Well, listen, sensory perception for an AI stuck in a rock is probably not her forte.
Not great.
Yeah. But you're looking around
Okay.
as you're kind of because you've got much better vision down here than everybody else. Everyone else is human except for him, right?
Half
What
elf.
are you? Tiefling?
He's a
You're a
half-elf.
tiefling.
I'm a half elf.
He's a
Half elf. Okay, you've got pretty good vision down here too. You just don't give a fuck.
I give a fuck. I'm looking around. I'm watching for threats. I'm
Yeah,
looking
yeah, yeah.
for.
You're looking for threats, but you don't
He's looking for like random Benjamins on the floor and
Well, no.
some coins.
Yeah, exactly. He does give a fuck. He cares about things. So you're,
Yeah, it's my only fault.
you're digging around, and you spot something out of the corner of your eye. It's kind of just on the edge of the light spell that I'm gonna say Rosette cast because she's a wizard.
Sure.
That seems like the first thing a wizard would do.
Sure.
Yeah. And so you spot it immediately. You go to it. You start kind of digging through the mud, and you pull out kind of it's a piece of paper. And as you start reading it,
Oh, what? I wouldn't do nothing. What?
as you start reading it, you notice a very, very familiar name at the top of it. What was the name of your wife?
The love of my life. What was her name?
Got one.
I didn't put that on there.
I just thought you had. I just assumed you had a name in
Wife
mind.
number
No.
5643.
No, it was an answer to a question on a sheet.
That's
Sylvia.
Sure,
Okay,
Sylvia.
Sylvia. So you notice Sylvia's name at the top of the page, and immediately you've got that motherfucker up because it says Sylvia Zemecki. There's not another one in the city as far as you know. You pull it up and you can you start reading it feverishly, kind of there on the half end of the dark, and it's something that definitely shouldn't shouldn't be here because this is the paperwork that you didn't file. It's the paperwork that you definitely would have had like in your desk. The things that got Sylvia to that got Sylvia kind of like picked up and killed. So go ahead, come make a pull.
Okay.
And as you're reading over this, it goes from being like an official document to sounding more and more like kind of like a confessional. And then you take a step back into the light to read it a little bit more, and it's just a letter somebody named Sylvia wrote to their parents. You look down, the envelope that it was in was also in the dirt. It just had seeped open from the water, but it definitely looks like it off to the edge, so it was dropped here. So somebody had to have come through here.
What do you see?
So is it or is it not this paperwork?
It's not that paperwork.
There's
It's
Okay.
just a letter.
or
You just
something.
trick the light.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
That's a bug.
Is it?
It's a ladybug.
Oh.
It's okay.
Arrow's
Please
very interested in this
Don't let it
ladybug.
get in my hair this time.
I make no promises because it's a ladybug and it'll do what it wants.
So, but the more you look around, because now you find this letter, you find kind of telltale scuff marks in the dirt and grime that people, and a significant number of people, have moved through this area. So,
Bless you.
Madam Mayor, I think they've gone this way.
Okay. I cast more light that direction.
Okay.
So that we can have a general idea of what we're walking into.
okay. No worries.
I probably also make my shoes waterproof. I don't want to get my feet
Andrew does a
dirty.
bunch of useless stuff with his.
You can just make
so
your
yeah.
entire self waterproof.
Would you like to be waterproof?
Sure. We're all waterproof.
Bless you.
So, as you push down, you're finding more and more like weird, like not just like letters, but kind of like weird trinkets, people's like shoes, purses, like with coins still in them.
I too
Things-
often strip while I walk down the sewer.
Yeah, well, it's like shoes stuck in mud, but it
You
looks like
choose
they just
this
kept
often.
walking and walked right out of their shoe and didn't give a fuck.
Well, I mean, you gotta
Kept
try
going.
everything once.
Walking out of your shoes?
Everything.
It can happen.
Subterranean mud baths.
Yeah,
I hear they're very good for exfoliation.
and so like as you're pushing them down, Lachelle, you
Ooh, it's a business
notice
opportunity.
from the like you're the first to notice because you're on like you're on guard 24/7.
Right.
Set it up like Roman.
Get some servant.
And
Yeah,
you hear
heat it
kind of
up.
like a skittering
It could be a
noise,
big business opportunity.
sort of like claws that are
She's not listening to me. She never. She
like kind of like
listens to
claws
me.
that
She'll figure it
are
out.
like claws on stone, and it's up ahead, kind of around a bend. You haven't approached it yet. It doesn't seem to be coming at you, but it sounds like something digging through something.
It's almost like I could actually hear it coming from the kitchen at this
I know,
very
right?
moment.
It's eating the cat food. Oh God, the horror!
I turn that way and raise my crossbow.
Okay. It's still like it's around the corner. You don't know what's up around the corner, but around the corner, something's sort of making a digging noise.
What do I think's around the corner?
I don't know. Sounds like something biggish. Definitely
Oh, yeah.
claws,
What?
but also kind of like a thudding noise, like
Does she?
thud, thud, thud. Like it's a thing with feet that have claws on them, walking around. And it's big.
Bird.
Yeah, everybody ready?
Yep, draw my sword.
All the swords.
What do bards fight with?
Talons.
Talons.
So as
Bards?
Bards?
Bards are not the same thing as birds.
Oh.
Oh, I thought you said birds. What about birds?
Bards fight with whatever other weapons
so
everybody
you
else
hear
uses.
this like ticking, cracking
Yeah,
noise,
usually like
and then you hear
rapiers.
it all of a sudden, like it goes from like a normal kind of football sounding pattern to it stops.
I try to preemptively see what it's going to do next, or what it is to begin with.
Yeah. So Lizette, or not Lizette,
Lizette's great.
Rosette sort of stops and concentrates. Everybody she kind of like falls behind the group as they're like slowly pushing up. And you begin to concentrate, and you see the tunnel where you're at, and then you pull out, kind of like like almost like you're scrying on somebody. You kind of pull out of your body, and then you're above ground.
Yeah, astral
and then
projection.
You're above that, and then it rushes back down. Your vision sort of like rushes back down, and you're in your house, but it's not the house that you live in currently. It's the house that you used to live in before you were the mayor. And there, sitting on your desk, is Awakening, sort of projecting herself above the tiny crystal that she is currently, as you're working on a thing. And she is talking to you not like she talks to you now. Come in, full. Thank you for preemptively realizing what's going on. And she is talking to you not like the weird AI personal assistant that you have now, but like a person, telling you about things that she's very excited about that you guys are working on, things that she thinks that you guys can do, and things that she wants to do by herself. And as you finish writing, you begin to erase the page and you slam back into your body on in the sewer, and you have no idea what's coming up from around that corner.
Okay.
Say anything to the rest of them?
Oh no.
Okay. All right.
So what does your divination magic pick up?
Oh, it didn't. I think that the cave is interfering with it somewhat. The stones are a little.
I know that's
weird.
bullshit. It's okay.
You do, yeah. That keys off is bullshit. Yeah, you can read people.
I also do magic.
Yeah. Michelle, that's bullshit. Everybody in the room, it's bullshit. It was.
As it may be,
I'm
I
not-
don't know what's around the corner.
I'm not saying that. I'm just,
So tip of the spear coming around this corner, I imagine, is the Dawn Sword here and Lachelle, right?
Yeah.
Probably Dawn Sword first. Lachelle's a little bit behind that.
Yep. Kind of off to the side, so I've got a good firing angle.
Yeah, exactly. But definitely not going to get jumped out at.
you
First,
did,
yeah.
you did
Yeah.
crossbow or something.
And so as you're walking up, you two are being fairly quiet. You've jumped a thing or two before in your life. You can still hear that it's trying to walk. Whatever it is trying to walk quiet. And
Then it's a giant spider with a small girl's body on top.
yeah, no, like it's but you
Wrong
can still hear
campaign.
like the tacking of toenails on stone. Much like Arrow walking around in the room here, but it's like very quiet, very slow and deliberate. And then, just as you guys are about to round the corner, you see Lachelle. You see a hand, like a weird hand, reach kind of around the corner. It's like somebody's reaching around the corner, but their hand's backwards on their wrist, and it's covered in fur, and there's claws, sort of like it's just got these fucking dagger-like claws. And before you can even move, you see this tiger face just whip around the corner, completely push Link into the ground, and it's diving down on you. Come make a pull, and you recognize this face.
Of course I do.
This is Marble, the Rakshasa that you previously employed. And just about as his claw is sunk into your chest, you snap back in as the Dawn Sword whips around the corner. You're just standing there in the hallway as the Dawn Sword pushes around the corner. What you find is a weird creature. You've literally never seen this thing before. It maybe is a goblin. But its limbs are weird and kind of like desiccated and long. Its skin is peeled back. Like its fingers there's still skin on its fingers, but they're peeled back into like these kind of spikes. And there is like probably 4 or 5 of them. You wade in there like it's no fucking no shit. You literally
It's like, no,
do not
please.
stop to care what the hell these things are. What sort of weapon do you use?
I have a sword and a shield.
Okay, so shield up. It jumps at you. You guys, like, as you guys come around the corner, you see it, like, one jumps at it. Dinosaur picks it up on the shield, stabs another one, brings it down, steps on it, kills it. They basically single-handedly take all 4 of these things out before they even have a chance to move.
Can I, is this Have I seen them fight like this before?
No, it's a level of cold efficiency. Like they were moving.
Like Lincoln didn't fight like this.
Lincoln fought well.
It's maybe moves similar to what you have seen before. Like it's almost like a weird hazy memory kind of thing, but it is at a different.
It's
colder.
The level of confidence that they are moving with every step they make is like there's not an ounce of wasted energy in the way that they're fighting. It maybe has some echoes of the way that Lincoln used to fight things, but there's a level of efficiency in killing that you never saw in Lincoln, except for like maybe once.
After they're done killing, I'm gonna sheath my sword and be like, "Man, Pellar is teaching some weird things these days."
No, Paylor isn't teaching it. I am.
Damn.
I mean, I don't usually talk to my god that way, but okay.
See,
Different strokes for different folks.
Your sibling.
Yeah.
Told you.
There's.
It's okay.
Help. From what you can kind of like, kind of a crack in the bricks, like just big enough that a normal sized person could get into it. You hear somebody speak again, like help. And you can see like at this kind of opening between bricks, it's kind of like a seam where they've put in kind of the two sections. They've been building in the sections of the sewer and what have you. There's just claw marks raked down out of the wall where they've kind of like these whatever these things were digging into there.
And like there's like a hole through there that we're hearing this from?
Yeah, it's like
or?
kind of like a crack in the wall that somebody could fit in sideways into, and a voice is coming from inside of there quietly asking for help.
Can you move the light over to that crack so we can see what we're looking at?
Inside of it is an older man. You can't make him out too well because the thing is, but there's definitely like a scared ass looking human, kind of like curled up in this crack in the wall.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I guess I'm gonna like reach out and be like, "Hey, come on out."
They just killed whatever it was that was trying to kill you.
Yeah. Look, Rage Face over here got him. It's fine.
Yeah, and as you explore, kind of like if you guys want to look at the bodies on the ground too, they definitely look like at some point in time, whatever these things were goblins. Maybe they were twisted by magic. They could be. There's a possibility that there's some kind of undead creature that's kind of like attracted to the carrion that's in the sewer. This is before the keeper sort of like made sure none of that fucking shit ever happened again.
Okay.
But he comes out. He's kind of like he's an older gentleman. He's got tan skin and black hair. He's very, very tall. He's thin, but not like emaciated. He's got kind of like, it's weird. He looks like he looks like he's 60 or maybe 70, but like a good looking 60 or 70, but very kind of tall and stretched out. Almost like his skin's kind of pulled over him.
And pointed ears.
No, he doesn't have pointed ears.
Just checking.
Yeah. Guy you're thinking of doesn't have pointed ears either.
I wasn't thinking of a particular person at all.
Okay. His skin's kind of stretched over his face. He's got kind of like old looking skin. It's definitely like kind of like darker. He definitely has kind of like what one would consider like Middle Eastern features if we were in like the real world. But he's got kind of like old skin, but he's got kind of like young looking eyes, even though they're pretty much fucking petrified right now.
It's kind of a gray cast to him.
Huh?
Just making sure he's not undead.
No. He seems very much alive and scared as fuck. And he kind of looks at the things like, thank you so much. I've been trapped there for hours. I don't know where these things came from.
How did you get down here?
I fell in from the house.
Why did you walk this way instead of just walking back up the ramp?
We were chased off by these things. Came into the room that we were in, and we ran. We couldn't. There was too much rubble at the top of the top of the hole for us to climb up, and then these things came in, and we didn't know what to do. We couldn't fight them.
Did the owners ever say they actually cleared rubble?
Not that I was.
They also didn't say they did.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They did say that they tried to secure
I mean,
the
if
building.
a thing falls
in,
in, there's probably going to be some rubble.
Well, I know, but when we got there wasn't any rubble. So I was just
They may have cleared it off to try and
Probably.
get people back out.
So,
Well, come on out, sir, and we
Yeah.
will
So
make
he
sure.
comes out. He's in like a kind of like a one of those like kind of like button down shirts that doesn't have the collar, like the kind of collarless one of those. Hair side. He's not got any shoes on, which would make sense because he was in his home at the time.
That they're about 10 feet back.
I think they were.
We saw those. Yeah. Okay.
And he's like filthy because he crawled in his like garbage sewer hole. And he would like he's still like he's just literally just shaking like a leaf.
Where's the rest of the people who fell?
I don't know. These things, whatever they were, there was a pack of them. They sort of separated a lot of us off, and I lost track of them.
Well, do you want to go back up to the surface?
No, there's more of these things. There's probably 20, 30 of these things roaming around down here.
I mean, he knows he's like 10 feet from to go to the surface, right?
Because if we take you around the
We
corner,
didn't go
you
very
can go back
far.
to the surface.
You guys came a little ways.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, you're not... It's probably like 10, 15-minute walk, but that's also a 10, 15-minute walk back through the dark unknown.
It's only partially unknown.
It's only partially dark.
That's true.
Yeah.
And he's I don't... He said he's been here for a couple of hours, BT dubs.
Yeah, no, I was about to say.
Yeah.
Sir, you said that you've been here for a couple of hours. Were you wandering the sewers for the time previous to that?
No. Are you guys not...
It's been 3
We
days.
assumed that they... What?
It's been 3 days since the building fell in.
No, it's been a handful of hours at best.
Make a note, we need to have people come down here and clean out the sewers.
Noting.
Neither one of these people is your secretary.
So this guy hasn't.
He is now. He just got elected to be secretary for making
I do carry a book. You
He
know.
does carry a book.
Tieflings, man.
So this
Excellent
guy's looking
secretaries.
pretty good for not having eaten or drinking anything in 3
I'm
days.
being terrified for 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we sure he's not undead?
I don't think he's undead.
I don't know.
Can we check to see if he's undead?
Oh,
We
man,
can
if
kill
only
him
one
and
of
see if
you
he's
was some
undead.
kind
If
of
only one of us was a
divine
priest.
and
Man, that'd be.
divine-powered being.
Yeah. So I'm gonna check that.
You're a bard.
I'm a priest.
I don't think you're the one he's referring
I have
to.
detect evil.
Talking about the paladin.
Okay, Dawn Striker can do it.
Don's sword.
Right. Fawn Sword. Saldora,
So, yeah,
Fawn Sword. Got it.
I mean, you kind of like you cast this on him. Decidedly is not undead.
But is he evil?
That's not actually not how detect evil works.
Yeah, it doesn't work anymore. Like that. Yeah. It looks for was it celestials, demons,
Fiends, yeah.
fae, and elementals.
And consecrated, desecrated ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't cast that here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Look,
he's
I don't need it, I
decidedly
can
coming
smell
off
it.
as human. Like there's nothing weird about him.
All right, sir. We're going to escort you back to the surface.
Are we not? What about?
We'll come back down for the rest of the people that fell down here.
I
But we
got
need
s-
to get you to safety.
But I was separated from my family.
Right, we'll come back down here for your family.
They've been down
But
here
we
for
need to
3
get
days.
you
What's
to
15
safety.
minutes?
We need to get you to safety.
I want to find my children.
We're going to find
My
your children.
grandchildren are down here too.
We're going to find your children and grandchildren. We need to get you to safety. Sir, can you fight?
I mean, okay, I guess. Yeah, I can throw a punch.
You were hiding in this hole for hours from these
There's
things.
4 of them.
I know. And you said that there are more.
Yes.
Are you willing to fight them to get your children back?
No, but you seem very capable.
Right. I'm saying I'm not going to tag you along while we're searching for your children when you're not going
Hello's
to pull
really
your weight.
slacking.
I
I'm
am more
just
than happy
saying.
to escort you safely back to
You
the
don't care. You're a
surface
mercenary.
where people can take care of you.
I think
And then
Paylor's awesome.
I promise you that we
You
will
would-
come
you would
back
like
down
this
here
version
to
of
find
Paylor.
your children.
this man, he
I've read,
sort of
I've read
like
a lot
kinda
of
has,
books.
like,
I don't think
concerned
I've
look
met
about
this
his
version of
face.
Paylor, though.
And he reaches out and he touches you.
I'm
He
actually
grabs you on the
considering
shoulder.
going to church.
People do not touch you.
I could have told him that was a bad idea.
Yeah. And you, like, immediately, you feel your hand with the gauntlet on it just immediately clenches into a fist because,
Wait,
And
can
you-
I see them wearing the gauntlet?
yeah. It's a black gauntlet with fucking rubies on
I
it.
have-
Never mentioned that I could see that.
I have matching armor.
Yeah. Black and gold, like black and ruby armor.
Never mentioned
You know,
that I could see
Halo.
that.
It's a good book.
Yeah, black and ruby Paylor armor. Right.
And you feel that, you feel like your fist kind of instinctually clench, and that rage pushes up into the back of your, like, from the back of your head, and you hear that very familiar voice, kind of like almost like if an earthquake could talk to you, is what it sounds like in your head, and it tells you. Yeah. It tells you.
It tells you.
It's like we should leave him. We should finish what these things started. He is not strong enough to make it in this world, obviously. We need to just do the planet a favor. Take him out now. And so your other hand, the one that's typically is on your sword, is kind of like resting on the pommel. Come take a pull. And it feels like your blood is on fire, and it just slowly starts kind of like slipping out of your sheath as you stare this man directly in the face.
That
And
can't
then
be good.
finally you take a deep breath, remove his hand from your shoulder, calm down just a bit, and don't murder an innocent civilian in front of the mayor.
Yep.
You know,
And he kind of looks you in the face and he goes,
right?
Yep.
Okay, keep that in mind.
I want to find my children, my grand. If what you're saying is true, and I swear to
home.
all of the gods,
Go home.
I've only been down here for a few hours.
Home.
They've been down here for days.
Home. We can't take you with us. You're a liability. You're only going to get either yourself or us killed. If you would like us to find your family, you need to go home. We will take you there, or we will leave you here, but you don't get to come with us.
Okay, you're right. You're fine. You're right. I'm sorry. Do one of you have I guess like a torch or something I can borrow?
I am sure that we can make some sort of light happen for you.
This guy's gonna die.
So you guys,
Yeah, you can make a light, like you can make a lighted
light
up.
on a thing.
Yeah,
so
on a
you
rock.
cast light on a thing, a rock. So he gets the flashlight rock, and he sort of like he begins kind of moving away. And he sort of looks over his shoulder at you guys, like very dejected, but starts moving kind of like back down the sewer as you guys.
And it turns a corner, screams, and dies. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
More or less, yeah. No. But he kind of like the light fades as he goes around the corner. Like it's dark, dimmer and dimmer, and so there you guys kind of are in the sewer.
We didn't hear him die horribly.
Now there's no Wilhelm scream from off screen.
Oh, good. That's always
Um,
a good time. I'm going to assume he made it and move on.
So this new part of the sewers that we have turned the corner around to, what are we looking at? Just more sewer?
Kind of more sewers. There's some branching. There's some kind of branching pathways. But from it's pretty far up there, and you don't actually notice
There's a
it,
train.
but Lachelle does, because he's got better vision than the rest of you. Down at the very end of this kind of like long stretch, like this is kind of like the main, like kind of more of like a main path that like a lot of water travels down, and then kind of other things feed into.
Always bubbles up there.
You see down at the very end, like this soft kind of orange glow, kind of floating down at the like at the end of this. It has to be a football field's length hallway.
Well, that can't be good.
Okay.
Okay. Gonna inform the rest of the team, but no one else can see this. But
Oh,
let me
nobody
make
else can see
clear.
this?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Sorry, your elf eyes see this.
All right, there's
Michelle, what do your elf eyes see?
Yeah.
my elf. I see the
I see
orange
with
that is
my
before
little-
us.
It's just turned into a children's
I
show.
spy my little elf eye.
No,
Is the orange taking the people to Isengard?
Damn your elf eyes.
too late. Anyway, so I see something ahead. It's some sort of glow.
Okay.
Yeah, just make that journal announcement.
Yeah, he sees the things I described.
Like a
Alright.
fire.
Well, let's move onwards then.
Okay. As you guys start slogging through the sewer, it's not great because it's a sewer. There's poop
Sewer
water.
grade.
But the water is like it's moving really it's moving at like a pretty good clip, and you notice it kind of rushing in through these like sort of feeding lines. And then as you come up to like a manhole, as you're walking through, water's just pouring down from above. It looks like the storm, whatever storm was going on upstairs, has picked up. And so it's probably a good idea if you guys maybe move quickly, because being in sewers during heavy rainstorms is usually bad. It's just gonna be a bad time. As you come up, you find like another sort of like slight bend, and kind of like a grate. Not really a grate. It's weird because this definitely shouldn't. For one, somebody needs to be on these city engineers, because you come around like a grate's a thing.
Yeah, somebody should do that.
If only we had an in with the mayor.
I know, right? As you come around the corner, typically what you were expecting is you try to see some iron banding. Like, oh, there's going to be a grate up here. Keeps, I don't know, mattresses and crocodiles and shit from flowing through the sewer.
Crocodiles, nice.
And mattresses.
Yeah. But
The two greatest
what you
enemies in
come
the
around the
sewers.
corner to find is like a kind of like a wood and iron wall with a door set into it.
I wonder if they pay taxes.
I know, right? And in front, like what the glow is coming from, like a torch that's kind of laying there and still flickering. In kind of still holding on to that torch is just like a body that is face down in the muck and currently threatening to float the fuck away because the water is starting to kind of get up there. And about as you kind of round the corner with like your light spells and everything, the body starts to like a little bit float away, and then the torch goes out as the water sort of like overtakes the head of it.
Okay.
But there's definitely like a corpse. It's a humanoid person. Maybe just kind of like doing a quick glance at it, it's probably a half elf person. You can kind of see a point on their ear, but they're just like face down in the water, hair floating back. The little bit of skin you can see is like gray and gross because the body's been floating in a sewer. Maybe hasn't been here very long because it's still together.
And the torch was still lit?
Yeah, there was also that. Yeah, the torch was still lit,
Absolutely,
but
yes.
the body is sort of like distended and bloated in a way that suggests that like
Putrefied and gross.
yeah, which is not a thing that happens like in an hour. I say to the fucking biologist, whatever.
Chemist.
I'm pretty sure the biologist is here.
Yeah, not here.
Uranus.
April's the
That's
biologist.
right. I know too many science people.
Science people, they're all the same.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a weird half elf corpse floating in front of you.
So his body looks like it's
with
only been
fucking
here for a couple
big
hours.
Ass padlock on it.
It's
in the
disintegrated
sewer.
at a very high rate if it's only been here for a
That
couple
seems
hours.
somewhat out of place.
Yeah.
Especially since it's still
Yeah.
holding a torch.
That doesn't seem
Yeah,
like
there
it's
was a lit
facilitates
torch.
water flow at all. Like
I don't think that's a good
bad
thing.
planning right there.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a
No.
normal thing. That's more like a.
Also, it's made of
something
wood, which is a
I
terrible
was saying
idea.
that last guy
It's like
was
baby
saying
first world,
that
though.
he'd only been there for a
Um,
couple hours and it'd been days. So there's some weird time fuckery going on here.
The more you get close
Agreed.
to it, it looks like it's been pitched. Like it's like like a part of a fucking boat or something.
I'm going to nudge the body into the water.
It floats there.
Does it not like float the rest of the way down the sewer?
Oh yeah, it begins to float down.
Yeah.
Yeah. It begins
Do we
to
not want to
lazily-
search this
it
body
begins to,
before
like,
it goes
yeah,
away?
Everything floats down here, guys.
So close.
No, I'm
So
thinking
close.
Do we not want to
She
search
senses
the body
candles.
before we push it downstream?
It's beginning to float away.
I'm gonna grab
Beginning
it
to
and
feel
check
a lot
for
like
a
Everything.
pocket
Okay.
with ID.
So you grab the leg, as
tell me
this
it
person
comes
who
out.
decidedly looks like your sibling, callously pushes a corpse out of their way. I imagine with the tip of their
Go
foot.
outside.
You grab the body. It is really
look, a
gross.
waterlogged corpse is
Yeah.
possibly the most gross kind of
Yeah,
corpse.
you react without thinking about it, and you grab it kind of like by the back of the calf to keep it from going away.
And its leg comes
and it
off.
feels like grabbing a Stretch Armstrong,
It's squishy.
but like a cold, wet, spongy Stretch Armstrong.
Great.
Everything's
And go ahead and make a pull. This is so gross.
Yeah, noses were shut off a long time ago here.
the gross.
So like you grab it and you can literally feel your fingers sinking into its like desiccated flesh on the back. It's
Not
not
desiccated.
desiccated, bloated flesh
Yeah,
on the
the
back.
opposite of desiccated.
Literally the opposite
Yeah.
of desiccated, yeah. And now that you're up on it, like the sewer smells bad because it's a sewer, but this is just a horrendous thing. And you kind of like choke back puking a little bit. But you get a hold of its pant leg so it doesn't like, a chunk of its calf doesn't rip out and float away.
Great. I didn't die by collapsing
yeah.
the Jenga
Just-
tower by
You-
grabbing
you
a
want
dead
to,
body.
like,
Just to be
What
clear
did
for
you wanna do
the
with
for
it?
the
I'm
going
viewers,
to,
whenever
like,
he goes
search
into those
pockets and
like
stuff, see if there's an
monologue
ID.
segments,
So you pull it
it's
over
probably
and you
because someone is
flip- you
pulling
flip
a
it,
Jenga,
and now that
and
you're,
then he's like
up on it and
resolving
looking at
it
this is
as
not
he
like
does
a,
that.
Wasn't a regular person. They're wearing, like, from the back you can definitely see that they were wearing some kind of like leather armor.
What do we know of our heroes? Does it meet any of our heroes that have gotten lost?
You guys don't know them personally, but there's
Look,
definitely a
2-bit.
half elf in there.
There's like 50 2-bit adventuring groups in this
That's
city.
true.
Like,
yeah, this was a pretty famous one though. Like they made it to the
We should have a
papers.
registry.
So as you pull it over, you
I
kind
think,
of
we
flip
should have
them.
a hero
You flip them over while
This
you're
is now
searching
Iron
their
Man.
stuff. Because you kind of have to hold them to keep them from
I have Jarvis.
continuing to want to float down the fucking
Actually,
sewer away
yes.
from you.
Yeah.
And you flip them over, and their eyes are still, well, most of one of their eyes is still there, wide, and looks like something's dug the other one out. Like a little crab or something.
Great.
Sewer crab.
hey, you can class speak with dead.
You could.
Good. Yeah. The other one
Not
is
gonna.
like locked open. They're staring up, like kind of like they're screaming. They would be screaming if like all the weird little soft bits of their mouth hadn't been eaten by crabs.
Nice,
Sewer crabs.
Sewer
Sewer
crabs. They're a thing now.
just like the sewer
Yeah.
crocs
Yeah.
and the
And
sewer.
the deadly sewer
the
mattresses.
Deadly sewer
do not
mattresses, yeah.
want to forget those.
Well, you don't want your sewer crocodiles to be well
Which-
rested, so you have to keep them separate from the mattress.
A shocked expression on a dead body isn't necessarily.
That's what they mean by
the
taking
weird
them to the
thing
mattresses. They mean
about
kill
this.
them
It's
by
that
feeding them to the
their arms are
mattresses.
sort of locked around their stomach area, and there's like probably 20, 30 puncture wounds all throughout their armor.
That looks promising.
And lodged into their stomach is like kind of like what looks like most of some sort of blade, because the only thing that you see is the pommel, and their hands just kind of like latched onto it.
I really appreciate that the part of this I had to make a pull for was touching the dead body and not all of the horrible stuff about it.
Touching, listen, that's gonna be real gross.
It's very seriously.
But 20 to 30 holes along their torso is fine.
Yeah.
After you've been
You've
stabbed in your
already
past.
touched it.
It's true.
How is this going to measure up to
Yeah.
it?
I frankly just didn't expect for you to like grab hold of it.
We can
so-
go-
I
we
mean,
can-
I'm looking for anything that'll tell me who this was.
I'd like to pull the sword out.
Really?
You pull it.
We can be a clue.
You
At
pull
least
it
see
out.
what's
It's not really
been.
a sword. You can. It's a dagger, but it's not like a cutting dagger. It's more like a stiletto. It's
Okay.
made. It's a thing that's made for stabbing
It's
through
It's a
armor.
sai. Okay.
Yeah.
Still looking for Eddie.
Yeah.
The whole reason I took
it.
Okay, so you start digging.
Do I know of
digging
any
pockets.
local gangs or anything that I've like? Is this a marker for anything like that?
No, but you do remember that that Gold Key adventuring group. They definitely have like a kind of like a rogue in their group. Half elf rogue.
Fun.
Who like to use daggers.
Fair enough.
So you do find you don't find any ID per se.
This guy
because we're a
committed
little bit
seppuku.
before
No, it kind of
I
sounds
think that's
like
what happened.
like widespread identification.
Did he run into his own
that would
wife
be
14
normal
times,
for
Yeah,
possibly.
what we,
Kind of
like
what
our
I'm thinking.
conception
I'm not sure
of
he
loot.
ran into his own wife 14
There
times.
it's
were
real
some
tough to kill
papers in a
yourself.
pouch
And
in
in
the
this
car
case, like 20,
Hold
30
on.
at
times.
this point.
Okay. Sorry, everything was just really loud just then.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But there were some papers in a pouch that possibly could be some identification papers. They are fucked. Like you pour the pouch out and there's like a slurry of like shitty parchment that is now just kind of like a slurry in there.
Does anyone have a spell that can bring those back to a prior state?
Prestidigitation can't restore them forever.
Mending. You would want mending, but I don't know if it would bring back words if the ink was washed off.
Yeah, probably. I don't think mending can do that.
I mean,
That seems-
mending could de-waterlog, I think, but
For
I
all
don't,
we know, they're McDonald's receipts, but it'd still be
probably, yeah.
but this definitely looks like it
Pre-medieval
matches the sort
McDonald's.
Of,
Adventurer
the
description.
sort of the thing to it.
So why would our one adventuring group have attacked the other, or members within the group attacked each
Well,
other?
it's weird.
I was
You
thinking-
guys,
I was
you
thinking he's-
also the other thing that you find while looking through kind of a way is they have a sheath on their belt for a weapon.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Yeah.
he
That is
stabbed
for this
himself
weapon.
14
Yeah,
times.
they stabbed themselves. That's the moral of this story.
Yeah.
But
He ran into the
Or
blade.
someone
about
else
the
stabbed them
blade?
in their own way.
14 times.
yes, how many?
Through his armor.
How many musicals can we reference in a podcast?
A lot. I
He had it
only know the
coming.
musicals.
Can you stab yourself 31 times?
I mean, if I try real hard and
it's
not in the
really
vital
quick.
areas.
If you do it really, really quick.
Listen, let it go. He was self-inflicted.
Goddamn. I quit.
I can knock over the tower if you'd like.
Fire. Yeah, let's do it. So, while you guys are investigating this corpse, you hear sort of like a light. It definitely sounds like crying. You Rosette, it sort of like strikes you immediately.
It's a
Like
screamer.
it sounds kind of like a young person.
No.
Silently
Witch.
crying. They're trying to it sounds like somebody trying to
From
eat
Left,
it.
Left 4
Go ahead
Dead.
and make
It sounds
a
like what you do
Because what
every
you're-
night
yeah.
when you realize
Yeah.
that we'll never be together.
God damn, that was rougher than what I was about to do.
Damn. Hard.
That, I guess. Damn.
I take a step back for a second. I'm like, damn. Ooh.
Fuck, Jesus
Ah.
Christ. That hurt me.
I didn't know you had that in ya.
Like, what it does is you flash back to the moment, like, you're sitting again in that same house where you were talking with Awakening, but it's Izzy there on the couch. You're holding them to them. You're reassuring them that there was nothing that they could do. There's nothing that they could do. Lincoln did that to himself. Themselves. Yeah.
Lincoln did it to themselves, but you helped.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Damn.
Need to get a healthy relationship.
You do. You need some good people in your life.
I mean, we're not really in a relationship.
We're friends.
That is a kind of relationship.
Yeah, you're sounding a lot like Rosette.
But yeah, there's definitely a soft.
A little bit of a Stockholm
There's
syndrome
definitely
going on
a
here.
soft crying coming from the other side of the door.
It's just
Yeah,
me.
it's just
I'm in the
Izzy.
background softly
Oh
crying.
no, it's on this side of the door.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's Izzy.
I try and find the source of the soft crying. I try.
It's on the other side of the door.
Open
Okay,
that
we
door.
gotta go through this door.
There's a big ass padlock on that door.
Break the padlock.
Can I open the door? Can I open
Look,
the
you're
lock?
good at smashing
We don't
things,
have
right?
a rogue.
Yes,
Can
we
I
got a
magic
wizard
them?
with a knock spell.
That's
Yeah.
true. Almost assuredly.
Cool. Yeah, I guess so. I forgot the wizard can do that. So
Tieflings can also
Look, you
be
gave us the
proficient
power
in
to
the-
free
yourself
form
for a
wizard
second,
spells, we're
'cause
done.
you kind of bring yourself back into the present.
Okay.
Also, Andrew, tieflings can become proficient at a thing.
No,
Oh.
that's just you.
That's just me.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, because you're cleric arcana, right? Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, cleric
Everything's so
knowledge.
specific.
Yeah, knowledge, that's what it was.
But so you concentrate, you
Hey,
bring
cool.
yourself back into the
Hello.
present, you center yourself. Awakening's voice sort of brings you back. Like, do we, like, like, because you're kind of just staring at the lock, and everyone's kind of looking at you like, do the magic
Like,
thing.
hey.
Yeah. And you hear Awakening's voice.
Look, I didn't
in the
prepare
kind of
that
back
spell
door,
today.
Ma'am, I believe that we need to go through the door.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We need to go through the door.
yeah. So Rosette says that out loud,
Uh-huh.
and then like kind of snaps her fingers, and the lock kind of falls open. You pull it off, and it's water rush because it was building up against this weird blockage in the sewer. Water kind of rushes in as you guys open the door, and it was like. It's pretty bad finding a dude who like stabbed himself like 20 times outside. It's like disturbing. It's not great. Inside, like the first thing that's sort of like you see like 2 or 3, like 2 bodies sort of like limply floating away in this like kind of like get pushed back and kind of fall out as the because it's not a trough on the other side of this door. It's like just a flat platform, but the water kind of rushes in and pushes these bodies back. And there's 4 other people on the other side of this side of this door, like a human guy, dwarf person, gnomish person, maybe another half elf person, and it looks like at some point in time they were trying to get out of here, because one of them is just kind of like slumped against the door, and when you look at them, there's just like. The fingernails are gone. The tips of their fingernails or the tips of their fingers are just ripped raw. There's scratch marks on this side of the wood. People like jerking at the door and everything, and they are dead as fuck. And in the kind of like so, it's a room. It's almost like an airlock. So it's like a room, and then on the other side of the room is another door. And you find the kind of the source of the crying pretty quickly. It's a lady. She's got stark white hair, but she's not an older lady. She's probably mid-20s, maybe 30. Just kind of huddled up. She's in kind of like a white sundress-looking thing that is just tattered beyond all reason. It was white at one point. It's not really that white anymore. But she's kind of huddled up in a corner. Kind of like softly crying to herself, and then there's like 4 corpses like directly in front of you.
This lady killed these guys.
I'm
How's
totally
it
thinking.
going?
So
Is it possible to take this door off its hinges?
No. I mean, yeah, it's possible.
I know. I'm down with this. Let's do
These
this.
people got trapped on the other side of this door. I want to make it so there is no door.
But there's no lock now. You guys physically have the lock in your hands.
Right.
Yeah, but nothing can come behind us.
It's
and lock the
harder
door
to
if there's
build
no
a door than it is to conjure another lock.
I mean, that's fair, I guess. Yeah.
No.
So you.
I am totally on board with this.
Yeah. I think we're all on the same wavelength
So,
here.
I'll help you with those hinges. Let's put these things out.
so as this crying girl in the corner,
Who I'm covering with my
continues-
crossbow while they do this.
Yeah.
I think Izzy and I are probably approaching the girl in the corner.
Yeah,
being like,
we're definitely the most
just slowly
charismatic.
coming over and being like,
No,
hey.
you're not the most charismatic. You're the most caring.
Here's the difference.
There's a difference.
Yeah, we're just gonna slowly approach the
This
girl and be
reminds
like,
me of a
hey,
time in a cave.
you know, how long have you
They
been
did- yeah,
here?
they-
Like,
what
we're
if I
here to
just-
help.
Okay.
Closed you
so
up
while you're
in
doing
here for
that,
a while.
That's why I'm
Lachelle
leaving
has
the
a
door.
crossbow trained on her.
Yep.
Lincoln just kind of like grabs the door and is facing away from everybody, so no one sees a sort of like blood red flash kind of like run through their pupils, and that door just comes the fuck down. They literally just rip a wooden iron banded door the fuck up off its hinges.
Or I will help you with those hinges. You seem to got this.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
Rosette, you kind of like can't not look at these 4 bodies that
Yeah.
are laying here because they're dead bodies and you're just compelled to look at them.
Okay.
What's real weird?
Creep.
Yeah. Well, what's real weird? If there's a corpse in
You're
the
the
room,
one
you're
that
gonna be
grabbed the
looking at
last
it.
one. Do not call me.
Because I cared.
I care.
Yeah. I'm sure she cares a
She
lot.
just wants to be
about
sure that
these.
they're not going to interfere.
I care.
I care. I care what killed them. I want
What's-
to make sure it didn't.
What's really like these people are also. They don't look like these are not people who fell in from the apartment. This has to be, especially matching description wise. This is the rest of that Gold Key adventuring group.
Okay.
They're armored
They don't
up.
make them like they used to.
They've got weapons, but it doesn't look like they tried
Kids
to use
these
those
days.
to get out.
We're supposed to be the ones
Every
that
one
have
of them is just like their
feelings.
hands are just ripped raw.
Trying to get out.
Yeah, and there's no other wounds on them.
Huh.
So we're over at the girl.
Yeah, you guys are over at the
Well,
girl.
approaching.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Like-
drowning can kill you without.
They're not that
Yeah.
wet.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, water was back
she's
up.
also alive in here.
Liz is
So-
gonna get like down on the girl's level, like on their knees.
She, as you get closer, she tries to push further back into this corner as hard as she possibly.
Well, there's only
can,
so
like,
much
away from you.
corner,
Yeah,
so I'm still
exactly.
going over there.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's for reaction.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, what happened here?
I don't know. I just woke up in here with these bodies.
Well, how come they're dead and you're not?
I have no
They're the
idea.
caring one.
Yes.
How
I
did
see
you
where
get
your
down
family
here?
gets it.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. I was. I just remember waking up in here.
Where were you before you woke up here?
How long have you been here?
She just has this kind of like deeply panicked look in her eye. As you can see, she's kind of like searching through her, searching through her own head. She's like, I don't know. I don't know.
Can I cast some kind of spell to calm her down?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Is there
You
anything
can
I can do to
you
calm
can
her?
do like a calm person on her. It's sort of like you can see her.
Just like mellow her out.
Yeah. Her breathing kind of slows. She's a little less panicked. She's still pretty scared.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
That spell can only go so far, really.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Gonna ask her, who are you? Like, what's your name? Why are you here?
And you see for just an instant that panic begins to swell again, and then like the spell kind of kicks in, as sort of like these weird magical tranquilizer. And
He's
she's like,
juicing her with that.
I don't know. And kind of from the door that like by this time you've turned around again, and Lachelle, you've dropped your crossbow. She doesn't seem like a threat, or maybe you don't. I don't know what you do.
No. I
Yeah.
let the crossbow drop a little.
Yeah.
Little.
As you guys kind of approach this girl, you hear from behind you at the door. It's like, I think she lived on the 3rd floor. And you turn around and it's that guy that you said no.